We were there when Nathan from Newtown found himself in a spot of bother. We dubbed it Nathan's Mobile in the Washing Machine Mishap. RACT Insurance, a part of your Tasmanian story.
This is about us as a community working together to
spread the message.
Don't just sit on the
sidelines.
Act to stop violence against women.
Stand up and speak out. AFL Tasmania partner with White Ribbon because it is important to have women involved, girls involved in our sport. And what it does is it makes us all accountable. This isn't just about women, this is about men, this is about our boys, this is about us as a community working together to prevent violence against women.
AFL Tas have such a huge following in Tasmania, and partnering with White Ribbon will really spread the message.
Women have played a massive part in my life, and I'd like to think the community can respect all women.
Respect towards women is all about valuing what they bring to society.
I like to know the women in my life are safe and being treated with respect.
Football is such a powerful tool, and it can help educate the community.
It's a great way to get the message out.
Getting everyone involved.
Creating safer environments.
Making sure everyone's treated as equal.
Don't just sit on the sidelines.
Stand up, speak out, and act to stop violence against women.
So back at UTAS Stadium, just 1 point between these two teams. The Bombers, North Launceston with the lead at this point in time up against Lauderdale. It's been a bumper clash. Mistakes aplenty for both sides. Neither team really able to capitalise when they've had sway of the game. What do we expect from the second half, gentlemen?
Yeah, look, it's going to be fascinating. Yeah, I still think North Lonnie might get the job done. They just don't seem to have clicked to me so far, Brownie. But, gee, Lauderdale will be happy where they sit, I reckon.
They would be. They'll be slightly disappointed with a couple of things that didn't go their way through some of their own decision-making. But they're right in this contest. But you just sense that North Launceston, as you said, haven't clicked into gear and they've still got a fair bit of upside. And you just sense that in the second half that they will have some domination by territory and when they can possess the footy. So that'll be the concern for mine from a Lauderdale perspective. And you know, you go back to a couple of misses in the first half for Lauderdale. Gilby had a couple of opportunities. Stanley, Lamses was stiff with one that was touched off the boot. Avea, they're the sorts of chances you need to go through. And we mentioned Wiggins. From North Launceston perspective, you know, some of their goals, Lauderdale have assisted them for mine. The Cox Goodyear one in the first quarter, Gilly, that was just lax marking. And that can come back to bite you. From memory, the Bart McCulloch kick was a result from the Hayden Smith knock on Simpson, and it was a relayed free kick down the ground. And even Couch's goal, it was a free kick against Wiggins for holding the footy. So they've got 3 goals, really, out of nothing in many respects. So I think there's a lot for them that they can do right in the second half in terms of some of their dominance in the forward line. So it's whether or not Lauderdale can withstand that, but they've given themselves every opportunity. Still some players, you know, that haven't had their best days, and they've got plenty of time to get back into this game. Thor Boscott's the obvious one. If he can get some footy in his hands, he can do some real damage.
Just a quick apology, sorry, Brownie. YouTube, we're experiencing some difficulties. We've been coming live to you from Facebook, but now YouTube is all good to go. If you want to get it up on your smart telly, or if you're a bigger fan of watching on YouTube, the link is live now, and we do apologise for any disruption to your day. But the good thing is you're joining us right when the game is up for grabs. Just 1 point separating these two teams. Lauderdale in the grand final up to their eyeballs. They finished 5th. I tell you what, they're playing better than that. They've always sort of loomed as the dangerous team.
We thought that in the heart, you know, in some of the stream games in the second half of the year. We thought if their best was good enough to be a top 2 team, and that's the way it was proven. And they're right in this contest now. We're an hour away from knowing who's going to win the 2018 Grand Final. Breno, is it going to be Lauderdale from 5th, or is it going to be North Launceston and a juggernaut winning 4 of the last 5?
Great story either way, Brownie. Lauderdale particularly. Obviously pumped here last year, 87 points I think it was, and then to come from 5th to win a grand final would be some sort of tale. And then North Launceston to make it 4 premierships in 5 years. Whatever happens, it's a deserved premier.
Boscott and Couch on each other in the middle. Dodgy old bounce to start proceedings.
Had to have one today.
Joel Harris, come on, mate. You picked in the granny for a reason. Give us your best. Throws it on up. Down from Lee. Couch looking at Pounce as Ponting that emerges. He finds Cox-Goodyear. A bouncing ball in. It's a tumble punt. A chaos ball. Cut off from Hill. Out for Sutton. Has Cousins for company. He just shakes off Sutton with relative ease. Puts it inside 50. Thomas almost. Ben McGuinness brings it down.
Free kick.
That's probably the spot, I think, for Ben McGuinness. Probably wasn't working for him necessarily forward.
An interesting kick, and that's being kind. Puts it straight down in front of Alex Lee, who takes the grab.
North Launceston have started with Whitford and Edgar as small forwards.
Leader, the designated kicker in Cousins. Long looking for Taron Thomas. He arrived late. Bennett! Unbelievable! Tom Bennett! Crazy good.
Unbelievable. Goal wasn't a goal out of nothing. I reckon that might be goal number 52 for Tom Bennett. He's had a terrific season. And we know he was dominant in the second semi-final on a really good player in Harrison Gunther.
Let's look at the replay here. Right on the boundary. That is a fantastic goal.
He didn't do a lot wrong, Oscar Shaw. He's been wearing him like a glove.
So Tom Bennett gets himself into the game with a fantastic goal. Perfect start for North Launceston in this Premiership quarter. They lead it now by 7 points. That's a beautiful bounce to restart us in the middle. They get another centre clearance in North Launceston. It goes the other way, and the Bombers. Here's Bellchambers, shrugs the tackle, and now Smith throws the ball onto his boot. Here's Havea out the back. Can he get the ball? Him and Burt. They challenge it towards the boundary, and we'll have a throw in.
Well worked from the centre clearance from Lauderdale. Thought the kick at one stage was going to favour Havea over the back.
What's the biggest lead of the game been, do you reckon, Brownie?
Gee, I reckon it's been inside 10 points, would it not, most of this game?
Here's Lauderdale. Nice work. Umpire's blowing the whistle. He's been pinged for holding the footy.
I think he took it out of the ruck.
Okay, so Ponting will get the kick for North Launceston. He's been super in this game so far, Josh Ponting. Oh, Taron Thomas couldn't quite take the mark. Sutton kept it in play. Still in play too, the ball. And now Egger got the handball away. Cox-Goodyear just evades the Boscott tackle. And it's really flirting with the boundary now, and it's eventually over.
I reckon big 5 minutes coming up here for the Lauderdale Footy Club. But a big finals campaign, you just get the feeling that North Launceston are going to put the foot to the pedal here in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, good call, Brownie. Very important stage of the game. Lee had that all on his own, but Boscott ends up with the football. Coming through, Josh McGuinness, so classy, so reliable, puts Bellchambers under a little bit of pressure though, and he's been pinged for holding the footy.
So it was a good tackle.
So Tom Couch, there he is. He'll take the kick back into this side this afternoon.
Well, I reckon he played just about the whole game forward in the first half, Tom Couch. So we'll find out how fit he is, because he will have fresh legs in terms of running this game out in the midfield, you would think.
Couch's kick goes to the pack. It's punched from behind though, and we'll have another ball in.
I reckon it's the right move to bring Couch into the middle now. I reckon it's a good move, because I think the matchup was working for Lauderdale.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't necessarily going in his favour. Did kick the one goal, had an opportunity. Nick Baker now with a job on Taron Thomas, who's deep forward.
So Lee in front, tapped it down. Cox-Goodyear fell over. Ponting and Couch, the man we just spoke of, sorry. Oh, player taken down there for Lauderdale. It was McGuinness. North Lonier away. Oh, Couch was taken very high. They're not taking the advantage.
I reckon that's not a bad kick to give away, because North Launceston were away.
Too easy.
Couch kicks it inside. Whitford. Taylor Whitford takes the mark.
Well, we've seen him kick goals from here.
And Taylor Whitford plays on. The coach, what can he do? Looks okay, no. Minus score.
That's a real let-off, because he just led to that space, and it was just far too easy for them to just pick him out in the pocket. And as strange as it sounds, he usually kicks those, despite it being a hard kick. As Baker goes long from the kick out. brought down. Well done by Franklin, out for Bellchambers. Terrific hands. Now for Bellchambers on a burst through the middle of UTAS Stadium. Off for Hervé. He has Walsh in all sorts of space. That's a shocker of a kick.
Slow
Had to
kick,
wait
wasn't
for it.
Really slow kick. How good were Franklin and Bellchambers in the build-up then?
Walsh now long and strong. Not long enough. Gobbled up by Zach Burt, the ultimate utility. Picks out Donnelly. He's had a difficult matchup today with the electric Mosquito. Goes long onto the wing. That one favours Walsh, but he loses his feet. And he'll pay the price against his namesake. Mark Walsh off for Bennett. Now Egger arches the back. Drops it backwards. Now for Bennett. Keeps it alive. Good kick. Wadley.
Couch wants it.
Inboard for Couch. He can wheel and go.
Whitford by himself.
Looking for Whitford. Needs to be perfect. Franklin across. Cuts it off. Falls down for Simpson. Thomas arrives. Boscott, or Heavey rather, crunched in a tackle.
Early stages, but work rate up for mine, North Launceston. They're looking dangerous. Lauderdale with that last foray inside 50. They're the ones that probably got to stick in the grand final for them. Got to make really smart decisions going forward and try and make North Launceston pay on the scoreboard.
So down from Lee, comes to Thomas. Then for Cosgoodyer, just throws it on the boot. Nothing pretty about it. Bennett, well dealt with by Shaw. Came across with a nice timely punch. Tang now in a spot of bother. Ball up.
Repeat inside 50 entries this quarter for North Launceston, only 7 minutes in.
They're just looking to break the back of Lauderdale. Uncontested ruck contest. It's just thrown forward on the boot of McManus and out it goes. Been really impressed with the discipline of Lauderdale today. Haven't been sucked in. So much made of last year.
We saw a bit of that last week, didn't we, with Zach Webster, Gilly, late in that game. They were very restrained, the Bombers.
So in it goes. Just plucked out of the air from Smith, and he drops it off for Baker. Baker now with a bit to do. Out for Karanua. The wheels of Lampsus emerge. He uses his toe, puts it out. The kick not good.
I don't think he needed to take the bounce. He had Walsh there who was screaming for it, but unfortunately when he took the bounce, Walsh wasn't sure whether or not to go forward or back.
In the end, it was a shallow kick, and Donnelly emerges with a footy. Goes long to his ruckman. Lee, hit out style, taps it down for Ponting. Franklin comes in, collects the footy. Ponting gathers again. Drops it off for Couch, starting to get in this ball game. Interesting from Stanley. And seen out of play. Cries for deliberate.
Now they're the ones, Lampsus, Bryce Walsh had a one-on-one against Donnelly, who was hedging his bets. Most important kick at footy, inside 50.
So 8 minutes gone and change in this third term. Not much in this ball game at all. Baker loses a footy illegally, says the umpire.
Oh.
It'll be Wadley's kick. It's probably a bit unfortunate. I thought it was dislodged in the tackle.
They're away too.
Carlton Wadley looks ahead, kicking in the Tang direction and unlikely forward. Well picked up by Raglione. Arrived at the right time. Drops it off to Josh McGuinness. He's the orchestrator of so many of their attacks. Now with Sutton. Had a very good afternoon, Reece Sutton. He goes long and wide. Gilby arrives, brings it to ground, picked up by Bryce Walsh. Turns it around, bouncing ball out. Mark Walsh sees it out of play.
He becomes an important player for mine, Jacob Gilby, in the second half. We know how smart he is, how creative he is. But he probably needs to have some score involvements in the second half if Lauderdale are going to go on and win this game.
Almost 10 minutes gone in this third quarter. It's an 8-point lead to the home team and the reigning premiers, North Launceston. Can they defend their title here this afternoon?
Good kick.
Certainly lifted in this third quarter.
Next goal's big in this game for mine.
No, it's a great point, Brownie. Ball comes in. And now Couch, Tommy Couch, back in the team this afternoon, heads goalward. Karen Nua
Well done.
did well. Through for a rush behind.
I wonder whether that was going to
bounce.
You just don't know how it bounces. So I like that he met it on the full, to be honest.
So Anderton brings it back in for Lauderdale. And the umpire's
Holding
blowing the
there.
whistle for holding, and the free kick going to Lauderdale and Havea.
It's been okay. He worked hard. I thought he was pretty quiet last week.
Tutai Havea pumps it to the wing. Back starts to form, but ball goes straight over the top of everyone. Bryce Walsh on it. Good to see him back out there after copping a hit. Free kick going to the skipper of Lauderdale.
Now, they've got to make this inside 50 stick for mine. Had a couple of opportunities going begging. Just for their confidence, I think they need to kick a goal.
And they'd love one here, Lauderdale, no doubt about that. Franklin from behind, punched. And now Stanley, played so well here a couple of weeks ago against Launceston. Taylor Whitford gets it out, Event. And now McManus, he wheels around, has a look at goal. It's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Out of bounds.
It's a better result.
Yeah.
Importance of this moment not lost on the Lauderdale team here, boys. Darren Winters just made his way to the bench. Looks to be leaving the instructions from the boundary line for the moment.
Anthony Osborne.
Tell you what, Anthony Osborne, rich vein of form.
Live from the green stuff. The great man down there doing a great job for us this afternoon. The Mick Osberger. And now Whitford. He's wrapped up in a big tackle. Umpire has blown the whistle for a ball up.
That's one thing they've nailed today, I reckon. Their tackling pressure, Lauderdale. Just haven't let them out. North Launceston.
That's where they.
We've spoken about North Launceston's kicking throughout the year too, boys, in front of goal, as we see Ponting just get it out of there and working it outside defensive 50. Thomas. And now they're away here. The Bombers. Here's Whitford. The orange wheels. Spots up Bennett. Bart McCulloch's moving forward. Hills closely tagging him though.
Well done, Shaw.
He has done well there.
He's a ripper.
Yeah, we've spoken about the kicking, boys. 4-10 this afternoon for North Launceston. Lauderdale not too far behind on 3-7, obviously, but has troubled them at times, their accuracy in front of goal, North Launceston, throughout the season. And a push there, so the free kick going to North Launceston.
Pretty blatant push, that one.
Was indeed. Now they load up here, the hosts. Can they take a mark? Oh, look at this. Out the back, Taron Thomas. Oh, yeah. Nice goal from the future Kangaroo. And that puts it out to 15 points.
All class. Just on the replay here, I think if Nick Baker had his time again, he just looks like he threw out the foot. Maybe that's not the percentage play in a grand final, and when you've got the ball in the hands of Taron Thomas, he's going to make you pay. Stings when it's your opponent.
Tell you what he knew too, Baker. You look at the look on his face as soon as he fresh aired it.
It's a game high 15 points, and Lauderdale must kick the next goal for mine.
So North Launceston extend their lead. Back in the middle, Lee down. Boscott, they need to get him into this game. Gets this footy. Out for McManus. Cries for front on contact. Heavey tries to guide it through legs. McManus arrives again. He does well, arches it back. Gets round one, round two. Inside, it's a shocker of a helicopter of a kick. Running away was Mark Walsh. Lost his feet. Helps out Lauderdale. Now it's Bell Chambers. McManus, quick hands. Straight through the legs. Clean bowled Lampsas. Cox Goodyear wrapped up. Going nowhere.
Well, they're the little things. A fumble there from Lampsas. Lauderdale was surging forward. They need to be clean in the big moments.
So not far from attacking 50 for the Bombers of the Lauderdale variety. Probably held there, Boscott. Yes, he was. So this is a big moment for mine.
He could run around here. He's got a bit of room.
What can he see, Boscott? Wiggins leads out into the pocket. He just undershoots it. It might have been touched. It was. Runs into trouble there, Egger. It's dropped off. Gilby now. What can Gilby do? Drops back. Stanley shoots. Stanley misses.
That was a one. I love the fact that Gilby didn't panic when he got tackled. He just had the presence of mind to feed it off. But they're the half chances again for Lauderdale.
So North Launceston again. Just ride the lightning. That is an absolute shocker. Just short of event. Ponting arrives, been superb, wrapped up in a stern tackle. Be balled up.
If you're Lauderdale, you don't want to be going 4 or 5 goals down at three-quarter time. They've got to be in striking distance.
They need the
now
next one.
Since the Mosquito goal for them in the second quarter.
Ponting now, ball blocked, out it goes, will be thrown in. So 5-10-40 plays 3-8-26. This game quite fragile for Lauderdale. The next goal from North Launceston would make things tricky, just knowing the pros they are. The ball comes in, Smith over the back. Boscott couldn't quite gather. Smith comes in, the big ruckman, gathers himself, comes out the back. Heavey sniffing around it, as is Gilby. Gilby on top of it, and he's climbed on top of by 2 Northern Bombers. Be a stoppage.
Lauderdale will be looked to be on the move here at this stoppage. Bell Chambers, Boscott.
Up it goes, Smith down. Gilby riding the tackle was Ponting. Good pressure, Lauderdale. They just need to keep it in there. On top of it, cries for holding the footy. They're going to pay it. Big moment in this ball game. It's a Jacob Gilby free kick.
Well, we mentioned, no, it's going to go.
Big Hayden Smith. Now, he kicked a big-time goal a couple of weeks ago at this very venue.
That's the most important kick in the game so far for Lauderdale.
Needs to kick it, you're right.
He's normally pretty good in this situation. Normally doesn't try and over-kick it.
North Launceston crowd behind the goal, giving him the Bronx jeers. In comes Hayden Smith. Must kick this goal. Off the right peg, into the post.
No.
That hurts.
Well, it does, because scoreboard pressure is the best pressure you can put on your opposition. And unfortunately for Lauderdale, they can't buy a goal at the moment.
So ball back in play. McGuinness flew from behind. Couch gets it out. And now Tang, but Anderson does well. Gets it back towards goal for Lauderdale, but turned over again by the Northern Bombers. And now they've got some space here. Cox Goodyear's on his own, but
they're out.
He's got McCulloch on here. Back now to Cox Goodyear. Cox Goodyear puts it inside 50. Bouncing over the back. Egger's there. Can he collect in time? He's under a bit of pressure, Egger, and couldn't do it in the end. Shouts for holding the ball, and umpire will ball it up instead.
Gee, he had a chance there, Sharon Egger. Hasn't played a lot of footy forward. Perhaps that was a little bit foreign to him, that situation, in terms of where he's played this season.
So ball up. McCulloch in the ruck, tapped it down. Here's Tom Couch, back in the team this afternoon, the former coach. Bouncing through, minus score.
There's the spoil again from Oscar Shaw. He's Dale Morris, boys.
Tell you what, it's a good spoil too. I like a spoil that makes its way through the sticks. Doesn't stay alive to be caught off.
Josh McGuinness, big booming kick back into play. And now Thor Boss got the big ball charging through.
I thought it was a free kick.
I thought the whistle blew as well, but it's
got to be a free kick.
It's coming back.
I like that intent though from Boscott.
Advantage paid here. And now Stanley out in the wing, but goes out of bounds.
It's just an arm wrestle, isn't it? Just the...
And it's 14 points. It feels closer than that, doesn't it?
14 points is a lot in this ball game, though.
Yeah.
The next game, the next goal is just so crucial.
Approaching time on, third term. Smith got the handball out. Franklin. It's a really high ball on the wing. And gobbled up by Ryan Wiggins.
Sharman had to hit the contest in. He was the loose man.
So Wiggins, he gets it inside the arc and out the
back.
back.
I reckon in the back.
Yeah, it was. Bryce Walsh got dealt with too in the aftermath, but Mark Walsh, his namesake, will take the kick.
He's got to not panic here from a Lauderdale perspective. Still hanging the game. He can turn around pretty quickly.
Walsh goes long and it's out of bounds.
Let's come back to that Egger moment. That was quite pivotal. If he'd have gone on and kicked the goal, would have put him the better part of 20 points in front.
Brad, Cox, Goodyear and Couch combined in this quarter 6 inside 50s. So Couch into the middle seems to be paying dividends.
So ball back inside. Here's big tackle there from Blamses. Ball up.
Just hard, isn't it, in a grand final to find any time and space if you're a forward.
Lee from behind, Mansell and Bell Chambers, and a free kick's being paid here.
Caught high.
So it'll go to Mansell. So we're ticked into time on now. Ball goes wide.
Anthony, you got something for us? So I can hear you down there on the boundary.
Yeah, just a quick one here, boys. Interesting to note, Nick Baker, after that last goal that he probably could have done a better job in preventing, he actually has been on the exercise bike, so it's been about 10 minutes on the bench here for Nick Baker.
Okay.
Very interesting.
There you go. Play goes on. So under a bit of pressure here at the moment, North Launceston trying to get it up the line towards their attacking end of the ground. Ball still alive here. Wadley keeps it in now. Brad Cox-Goodyer gets it off to Tang. Tang now back to Cox-Goodyer. What can the superstar do? Brad Cox-Goodyer right to the line, touched.
Well done, Raglione. He'd be nervous there in the company of Taron Thomas as his opponent. He'll probably fancy that matchup, North Launceston.
So Raglione out from full back. Looks long. A pack collides. Boscott does well, just bursting through. He was caught on the way through though. Looks in a spot of bother, Boscott. Bouncing, tumbling ball inside 50. Josh McGuinness handles it with aplomb. 1-2 over the top. They move in a wave now, Lauderdale. Numbers are plenty. A big kick inside 50 from Boscott. Just out of the reach of Bryce Walsh. He can't go to ground. He has to keep his feet. He jumps on top of Mark Walsh. It comes to Havea. Gets by one.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Gee, that was great play from Josh McGuinness. Slicing through the midfield there.
He is a quality footballer, Josh McGuinness. You can tell why he landed on Brisbane's list a few years ago. Boscott brings it to ground. North Launceston will emerge now. Dakota Bannister picks out Egger. Arriving was Baker after a stint on the sidelines. It's picked up by Shaw. He coughs it up though. Egger now on a burst. Finds Bannister. Bannister for Couch. A juggling grab. Thomas or McCulloch. He looks for McCulloch. Just crafts a kick in. Numbers arrive for Lauderdale. Raglione should negotiate this one. Oh, he's left it alive. They're in trouble now. McCulloch slaps it out the back. Tang! Tang! Almost just wide to the right.
Just thought he might have had a moment there. Tangy's had a quiet game. The recruit from Victoria.
A game of missed chances, this one.
The concern for mine, Lauderdale, 3 goals in nearly 3/4 of footy.
Yeah, it is difficult to make an argument that they can win this game unless they get a goal quick, smart. Ponting rides the tackle. Sutton, good pressure.
Having said that, they can score quickly. We know that, and they get the game on their terms. But it's been a real struggle for both teams, really.
So up it goes again, down from Lee. Through his legs. Smith just trying to get it out of there. It's forced back into his arms. Will be a stoppage.
A big 5 minutes coming up, approaching 3/4 time. Another goal here either side would be so critical.
Smith again, down, Bannister bursting through. Costelloe the option, doesn't reach him. Slapping forward was Sutton. Picking up was Mosquito, slung in a tackle. This is tense stuff here at UTAS Stadium. The game not yet away from Lauderdale. There's still a fighting hope. Down from Smith to Sutton. Slaps it on the boot. Arriving was McManus. Couldn't reel it in. Picking up was Pearce. Out in front of Egger. Raglione arrives. Just pushes it away. Keeps going, Raglione. Just gets yardage. Keeps going. Good tackle. Sharon Egger stayed alive in the contest. They're still going here. Heavey on the boot. And a grab for Gilby.
Did well.
Gilby keen to get going. Bell Chambers this away, that away. Looks inside. Just crafts a kick. A little too cute. Too far for Bryce Walsh to come. They're at the races now, North Launceston. Sharman collected. His kick just gets away. Taron Thomas from his toes picks it up. Ponting being superb. A kick for McCulloch. Couldn't reel it in. Down now, Anderton. 1-2 with Hill. And the siren sounds and draws curtains on quarter number 3 here at UTAS Stadium.
So it's North Lonnie 5-13-43, Lauderdale 3-9-27, 16-point advantage at the last change to the reigning premiers. Can they defend their title, Cam Brown? It's looking that way at the moment. As you said, 3 goals in 3 quarters for Lauderdale. They need to kick at least that again to be any chance of winning this game.
Well, they're close enough if good enough, but 16 points looks a pretty handy margin in a low-scoring game. What was it, 2 goals, 5 in that quarter. North Launceston probably had a couple of half chances that they could have kicked. Lauderdale, just the 2 behinds. I thought it was just the inside 50 entry that, from a Lauderdale perspective, that hurt them in that quarter. They needed to make the most of their opportunities. Unfortunately, a couple of times, Bryce Walsh even there just caught behind. It wasn't probably the best kick coming in to favour him from Bell Chambers. Smith hit the post. On the other hand, we saw a great goal from Bennett out of nothing on the boundary line to start that 3rd quarter, and then it was a bit of an arm wrestle. Taron Thomas bobbed up. Again, we just saw Nick Baker trying to kick that one off the ground. Maybe if he had his time over again, would have elected to make a different decision, and a class player like Taron Thomas makes you pay. So that, that's probably the story of the game for mine. North Launceston probably just making the most of a couple of the half chances. From a Lauderdale perspective, if they can get that right, they're right in this game, but they don't want Brent to see North Launceston come out and kick the first couple of goals, because then it's going to be too far back from mine. But they are close enough, but they've had a big finals campaign. They're going to have to get every inch out of their bodies to get over in this one against a team that is well rested, hasn't been at their best, and you'd think they can still get the game on their terms a little bit from an offensive point of view, but all set up for an exciting last quarter.
Who are the better players you've seen so far, Brandy? I thought Tom Couch really came into the game that quarter.
Well, the move of him to the midfield I thought was quite pivotal. It probably wasn't working for him forward. Ponting is just so busy around and creative. Costelloe, I thought some of his deep inside 50 entries was really important for them. Cousins has had his moments from their perspective. I thought Event really held up in the back half for North Launceston. Really liked some of his work going back there. Taron Thomas doesn't need a lot of touches, does he, to make it pay? So certainly they've been really strong contributors from a North Launceston perspective.
What about Ponting? Do you think Ponting?
I think he's a terrific player. Yeah, I think he's had a wonderful year on the bench in TSL Team of the Year, and would feature pretty prominently in medal calculations, I think, in going forward. I would have thought for the best and first for the competition, he's had a great season.
Interesting note, boys, the inside 50s, 23 apiece. So very even.
Yeah, you're right, Gilly. And maybe Lauderdale, just watching this game, sometimes I felt like they've had the better looks inside 50 to, do some more damage, but unfortunately just haven't been able to spot up. And you do have to take your chances in a grand final. Even going back into that first half there, where Costelloe just got off in the first quarter, the free kick of Smith that allowed McCulloch to kick a goal. In the wash-up, they're quite pivotal, aren't they, in the 16-point margin.
And the move of Couch in the midfield was a good one. 8 touches in that third quarter, 4 inside 50s. Yeah,
obviously fitness isn't going to be a problem for him. So maybe you release Nick Baker from a Lauderdale perspective. We saw him go into the midfield in the second half last week, and I thought he had a real influence. Can be creative by hand. Maybe you roll the dice with him.
We'll just cross down, sorry, Brownie, for another Brownie, Anthony Osborne.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, got Clint Brown here. Just had the three-quarter time huddle there with the Lauderdale boys. Brownie, huge opportunity here for the club, the final term.
Yeah, look, it's not going to be easy. I mean, there's a reason they're the defending premiers, but we're certainly giving ourselves a chance. We're in the game. The game showed that you can score at both ends, but yeah, we've got to kick our goals, and that's probably the thing that's hurting us at the moment, is we're not kicking our goals.
So just execution and making most of any opportunities that come their way?
Yeah, there's a few times we went forward and we kicked it to the open side, and we didn't hit the targets, which is hard to do in this win. And they rebounded really well. I think they took it from one end to the other and had a couple of scoring shots. And we need to play the percentages and probably just keep it in our more defensive forward part. and then try and score from there instead of open ourselves up.
Guys like Josh Bunting, Brad Costelloe, you've looked really threatening at times. You're happy with the way you've been able to, I guess you will be able to clamp down on them in the final 10?
Yeah, we had a match up for Cox Goodyear early and we actually dropped it. We thought that his influence on the game's actually gone out since we dropped it. We'll probably put a focus into a few of the others, but yeah, look, he's still there and we've got to be careful of him, but we need to get our hands on the footy first to win the game.
No worries at all. Best luck, mate.
I mentioned Cox Goodyear there, fellas. He's had a fair bit of the footy. 22 disposals, 10 inside 50, so been very influential again. He seems to enjoy the biggest day of all.
Absolutely. We saw his best work last year and certainly backed it up again here in the 2018 season decider with a quarter to go as well. It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out from here. Lauderdale have broken away from their huddle. North Launceston still firmly locked up into theirs.
Looks like Lauderdale with a different look to start this last quarter. We're going to start Boscott deep. I like that move. Wiggins has gone forward. Robbie McManus has gone forward too, boys.
So rolling the dice, Brownie.
Well, I like it. It probably hasn't worked in terms of what they would like from an offensive point of view. Just the 3 goals. I think their effort, both teams, has been terrific, as you'd expect. In a grand final.
So, Lauderdale with the mountain to climb. What does the last quarter have in store? North Launceston 5-13-43, lead Lauderdale 3-9-27. Not without a hope, the Southern Bombers. What do you think, Brownie?
I think it's going to be tough for them. The first 5 or 10 minutes are critical there. I just thought they were hanging on. Maybe had some opportunities with some of their inside 50 entries. There's a bit of a swirly breeze, so it's not easy to hit targets and find some time and space if you are a forward for either team. But if Lauderdale are to win this game, the first 5 minutes are pitiful, and they need to get it on the scoreboard. Maybe get North Launceston a little bit jittery. From their perspective, though, they haven't played their best footy and they're 16 points in front. So if they can, on the other hand, kick a few here, get it out to 5 goals, you would think they're on track to win their 4th premiership in 5 years.
What do you made of Zach Burt's game today, Ken?
Yeah, look, they've employed him deep, haven't they, in that defensive post. They like him back there because he reads the play well. Just been a great player, hasn't he, Zach Burt, for a number of years. This is his 5th grand final. He can play back, he can play forward.
Waiting for a few little rascals to get off the ground.
He's taken Havea for large periods of this game and been pretty serviceable.
So North Launceston have made a habit of winning grand finals. They're in the driver's seat right now. What does Lauderdale have to throw at them? Down off the hands of Smith. Cox Goodyear couldn't get it to boot and he's gone.
Good tackle, Nick Baker. We like that. We call for that move.
McManus in acres of space. It reaches him. He turns out to the right, shakes off one. Oh, timely hand there from Cousins. Comes off to Launceston. The youngster, not enough on the kick. So Young, deep in defence. Hugging the boundary. Goes long. Arriving was McCulloch. Brings it to ground. McGuinness wrapped up in a fearsome Whitford tackle. Be a ball up. First goal. Oh so crucial here for Lauderdale. Lampsis gathers. Hands off for Ben McGuinness. Out now for Nick Baker. Turns it around. Franklin. Good grab.
Now he's been one player who has been able to spot up targets.
He looks in the Boscott direction. He can be electrifying. Almost brought it down, did Thor Boscott.
Well, he's probably the player that could ignite them. By the same token, at the other end, Taron Thomas. 5 minutes from each player. We mentioned that. That could just be the difference.
Just on the replay, probably had a fair shout for hands in the back there, Boscott. He's back at it here. Bellchambers bursts through. Comes to McManus, just clean bowls through his legs. Ponting. And they're away. They escape in the nick of time. Sutton gets a dirty old bounce. Able to butter up with a bit of help from Raglione. Slapping away. It's all Northern Bombers though. Event. Cox Goodyear. Seasoned campaigners. Over the top for Bannister. A bit of candy. Does the job. Along and strong in the Thomas direction. In the end, he's been falconed. Straight on the bonce and out it goes.
Sun's starting to cause a few headaches here too, boys. Quite bright on that outer side of the ground.
It's played out scoreboard-wise like a wet weather game without any rain. And it comes again. Down for the running Franklin. Just paddles to himself, quite clever. Keeps it alive. I'll need something here, Lauderdale. Ponting shakes off a couple, keeps it alive. What a player. Puts it on to the hands of Thomas. Ben McGuinness gets it out of there, but a hack kick out doesn't help anyone. Comes back in from Cox-Goodyear. Cox-Goodyear now. Down and through the fingers. Oh, Anderton, a lovely hand out. Comes to Heavey. Heavey in the nick of time. Gets a kick away, but it's not good.
Poor kick.
Young now. Finds a vent. Drops a setter, but has time to make up for it. Guides it to his coach, Whitford. Heavey makes him earn it.
Expect him to use his experience here. Just wait for a lead. Try and spot someone up.
Suck some time out of the clock as well, Brownie. Whitford into the pocket. That's a really good mark from Shaw. What a good player this bloke already is, let alone what he's going to be. So young Oscar Shaw. Off his boot, a shallow kick though. Smith does well. Was well behind in the contest and just kept alive. Bellchambers dropped what he should have taken. On hands and knees now. Bombers from both sides. Wrapped up in a tackle is Bannister. They let it go, the umps. Cut off now, Simpson. Good from the youngster. He has Couch. Couch usually makes you pay. He puts in the Thomas direction just over his head.
Gee, I thought it favoured him for a moment.
Got to be carried away there.
It's grand final, you're allowed to do that.
Just bought into the Tasmanian stereotype. Said multiple heads.
Danger here for Lauderdale. Cox-Goodyear looming.
Cam Brown's called it. Watch it happen as the ball's back in again. Down. Sprawling through was Bannister. He wasn't happy with the treatment, but out it goes through Anderton. But it'll come straight back in again. There's a whistle though. Someone ironed out behind play perhaps. It looks that way, so it'll be a downfield free kick. And that is a release of the pressure valve because they were just struggling to get it out. Defensive 50.
Been pretty good, Hayden Smith.
So Hayden Smith onto the wing.
Oh.
That's just fallen into the lap of McManus. Quite fortuitous. Looks inboard. Arriving was Heavey. Over the top was Donnelly. Did really well. Sharman now. Inside 50. Thomas the target. Couldn't quite bring it down was Ben McGuinness. Thomas now. Electric. Cut off and gone.
Good
Well
pressure.
done.
Good pressure. They just need to get some reward for their effort here. Lauderdale on the scoreboard. That's a terrible kick.
That is not what they needed at all. That is as deflating as it gets.
Now they want to go to Egger one-on-one by the look of it.
That's where they head. That kick was delightful off the boot of Bennett. Favoured Egger, and he did the rest.
Well, this is a big moment, isn't it?
Egger kicks this, and it makes it an almighty mountain to climb for the Lauderdale Bombers.
Huge.
It just carried over the back, didn't it? It just caught young Mitch Anderton out. Sharon Egger, the ex-Devonport player, gets an opportunity.
His name is Sharon, so you know he's not bad at footy.
No.
He's poked that one horribly offline out to the left.
Well, we've seen him play some great footy across half-back. That running, attacking defender, hard at it. Hasn't had a lot of set shots for goal, I would have thought, this season. Probably showed on that occasion. Nerves gets to everyone.
So they're still in it. Oh, my goodness me.
That's got to be a free kick, doesn't it?
He almost stood on his head.
Gee whiz. That's, yeah, nothing came out of that, which was interesting.
I think it was Robbie McManus. Went where Angels fear to tread.
Would have been some mark.
The concern for mine, Lauderdale just have to score a goal quickly because We're already up to the 7-minute mark of the last
he must
quarter.
have just touched it there.
So we restart. And North Launceston have the footy again. Simpson. Heavey's in there, as he always is. Wrapped up footy. Lee has it.
Now you think back, Breno, to the goal of Mosquito in the second quarter. It's been a long time between drinks with them.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. Up we go. Ball spills out the back. And now Simpson again. Mark not taken. Taron Thomas out the back. Taron Thomas has a look at goal. He goes to the square. Egger flew and took the mark.
Run around, son.
He thought about it. But Egger will now go back, take his time. Sharon Egger missed one a few moments ago. We thought he might have kicked. Sharon Egger comes around, and this is North Launceston's premiership to lose now. Margin is out to 23 points, and that's huge in the scheme of the game.
Inside 50 marks in this last quarter for Sharon Egger, when it's been difficult for any of the forwards today to find some separation. Game high 23 points, and they just look the more clinical at the moment. Smart finish from a young player. Yep, and he had an opportunity in the third quarter maybe to kick another one. So you'd have to say that moves worked pretty well for Taylor Whitford in the second half.
Finding it hard to find my 3-2-1, Brownie, for the Bulldog medal.
Well,
back in the middle again, bounce down from Havea. It's almost panic stations now for Lauderdale. Coming through was Cox Goodyear. That'll leave a mark.
I reckon that's holding
the footy.
Yeah, good decision.
Fantastic for Sharon Egger. Really good finish. Hands off now for Hill. Hill with hands over the top to Baker. That's dicey. But he makes it look pretty good. Out the side, he's looking for Sutton, I thought. Gilby gets rid of his opponent. Gilby now. Got to kick the goal. Jacob Gilby.
He's missed a lot, has he?
He's missed everything. He's lucky it was touched. Lauderdale, that is an encapsulation of their game in some respects. They've had the chances. They haven't taken them. As the ball comes in once more. Down from Lee. Whitford tries to get it moving. Slung in a tackle. Moving and marching it towards goal. There'll be another stoppage. Now the Bulldog medal, a very, very difficult one.
Really tough. Really tough. Up it goes. Tapped down by Havea. Gilby out the back. Gets boot to ball, and Lauderdale get one back. Cuts the lead back to 17 points.
Yeah, great call from you, Breno. It was the ruck work of Havea, and he just knocked it into space. Lauderdale were happy to leave it open, and watch Gilby here get some separation from Burt at the stoppage, and then bang, presence of mind to kick it off the ground for a goal. A badly needed one for the Lauderdale Bombers. Cuts it back to 17 points. Just when you thought maybe the game was slipping away from them. That's his second, Jacob Gilby.
Yeah, much needed goal. Still time if they can click into gear
definitely.
Lauderdale.
So back in the middle. Havea and Lee. Bounce down. Lee. Bounce favoured him. Straight down the throat of Cox Goodyear. Kick inside 50. Wiggins stands and marks. They need a go. Lauderdale.
His kick's got a stick.
Dicey kick. Had to split the middle. And he's got assistance, I think. Oh no, the free kick's gone the other way. It's going to be Whitford's kick. So Taylor Whitford has a look ahead. Milks some of the clock. Just over squirts it for Cox Goodyear. But it's in the right part of the ground for North Launceston. So it'll be thrown on in. North Launceston aiming to get their 4th premiership in 5 years. Try and run it out of defence. Raglione lets in Thomas. A flying shot wide to the right.
He's exciting, isn't he, when he's on the move. Taron Thomas hasn't had a big game possession-wise, but can still have an impact.
So out they come from defence. Wiggins with a big kick. Slipping through the fingers of Bryce Walsh. Spraying it out was Whitford. Dakota Bannister couldn't grab it. Just almost thrown forward by Bell Chambers. Donnelly takes a defensive grab. In ball goes to Lee. Lee brings it down to ground. Has a vent as a runner. He'll put it out in front of Cox Goodyear. It's been darn good again.
Yeah.
Cox Goodyear out in the pocket. Bennett with a heap of space. And he makes use of it.
Normally smart in this situation.
So Tom Bennett.
Oh, I think they'll fancy going long to Taron Thomas. He thinks he can kick the distance.
He's going to milk the clock if nothing else. Smart play. Take your 30. Go back. Give it a ride. It's left. Sid Thomas! That's outrageous.
That's why.
Gee whiz.
I looked down there and I thought, yep, they'll fancy that.
Wow. Not a bad way to go out when you're playing your last game for North Launceston, Gilly.
Taron Thomas.
Well, that's what he can do. And even at Mariners level, they threw him forward early on this season. And he turned the game in a couple of matches when he pushed forward. And North Launceston had the confidence there. Bennett.
So Taron Thomas goes head surfing and then puts it through. North Launceston are going to be tough to topple from here.
Well, that's what he can do, can't he? He's an absolute machine. He can do it in the air, rarely fumbles, brilliant at ground level, makes good decisions by hand and foot, and he doesn't need a lot of opportunities to have a major impact. He's kicked 2 goals today. He's been the only multiple goal kicker for his team, and they've only kicked 7, which becomes critical, and it puts it out to 24 points.
He's had 3 contested grabs, Taron Thomas.
Yeah, and I
pretty
thought
good.
early he troubled Anderton when the ball was in the air.
So back in the middle again, Smith down, Cox Goodyear.
Free kick.
Caught high. They'll race away from it through Bannister. Bannister now out in front of Bennett, just over his hands. It's collected. Time the enemy now for Lauderdale. Almost 15 gone in this 4th quarter.
No.
Franklin in the nick of time, but it's straight to Cox Goodyear. He rides a couple. Look at him go, Cox Goodyear, the raging bull. Inside forward 50, Taron Thomas the target, just over his head. Yeah. And out it goes.
I just sense Taron Thomas is going to have even more an impact in the last 10 or 15 minutes in this game. Cox Goodyear is just surging the ball inside 50 with monotonous regularity at the moment.
So it'll be thrown on in again. Beyond 15 minutes gone in this 4th quarter. North Launceston in control. Anderton heaves it out of there. Smith the target. Does okay. Be thrown in.
Well, Lauderdale have just got to roll the dice, don't they? If they win possession now, they'll just be trying to slice it up through the corridor. Shortest way home.
So we await the ball in. North Lonnie in control here at the moment. Lee from behind now, Ponting. He gets it inside 50. Pearce, who's been quiet today, Brownie.
Yeah, he plays that role at times, doesn't he? Jake Pearce across half forward can be a difficult position to play. Dual Premiership player.
So back in. It's in the ruck now, Pearce. And now Whitford out the back door, has a bounce. Has a look as well to the top of the square. Punch through. So that makes it 15 points now.
Yeah, they're starting to dominate, aren't they, boys? Lauderdale just
Yeah, they are
can't
indeed.
get their hands on the footy.
Surging, as you said, Brownie. Inside 50. Anderton pumps it really long. No one could take the mark. So Pearce dived on the footy and Ponting wrapped up. Umpire will ball it up. So approaching time on now She said North Lonnie in full control, looking for their 4th premiership in 5 years. It's hard to fathom what this club has achieved. Couch trying to control it there. Ponting's in there as well. And now Baker trying to pick it up off the ground. Misjudged it. Can't get it out cleanly at the moment. Wadley, his handball went to Smith. And now here's a chance for Lauderdale moving forward. Oh, good mark taken though out in front by the Bombers of the Northern variety. It's Walsh.
Not take all the time they need.
No need to hurry whatsoever. He goes long, Walsh, and looks for Ponting. The punch happened though. And Baker gets it back again after that nice punch a minute ago. Smith's handball wasn't a good one, but the Bombers do okay out of it. And the ball eventually goes out of bounds.
Played pretty well, Nick Baker, again, since coming back from the Mariners, then went to the Allies. And in the second half of the year, he's been a really good player for Lauderdale. Getting dark, boys. Shallow throw, and they've got to do that again, surely. Time the enemy now for Lauderdale. Nominations for the Darryl Bulldog medal. Brent Costelloe voting on that one today.
Coming through was Walsh. Drops it off to Ponting to Bradley Cox-Goodyear. And I have a feeling those two names could feature prominently in that polling. They've been magnificent. Over the top to Bennett. What a year he's had. Another flag on the way. Inside for Tang. An inclusion in this side. Comes to Thomas. A spin. A Taron Thomas moment maybe. No. They race away through hands. Lauderdale. McManus has tried hard all day.
Yeah, agree with that.
Liked his game.
To kick to.
He's got no one to kick to whatsoever. He just kicks long and high. And Mark Walsh helps himself. He looks long out in the wing, and Pearce has acres of space. A little one for Bradley Cox-Goodyear. He's had a lot of the footy.
Yeah, he's dominated. Probably a little bit quieter in the second quarter, but apart from that, a terrific game. Just shows you what a quality player he is. Last year, deep forward, 8 goals. Today, doing it from the midfield.
He powers it long. Over the back is Shaw. Collects the footy, slaps it on the boot, picked up by Bell Chambers, then to Franklin. Franklin long. Looking for Stanley. Almost completed the grab. Navigates traffic. Hands back. Bryce Walsh. Over the top. Stanley couldn't take it. Bradley Cox-Goodyear, great. 1-2. Away he goes on a burst, Cox-Goodyear. He's been terrific. He'll find Ponting. Probably the two best players on the ground for mine.
Cox-Goodyear has been dominant in the second half. Repeatedly just thrusting the footy forward for his team.
Josh Ponting into the pocket. Thomas! He's done it again! Lightning strikes twice!
Well,
wow.
We thought he'd have a couple of moments in this last quarter, and he hasn't let us down.
What a player Taron Thomas is. I don't know if you've submitted your votes yet, Breno, but a few more moments from Taron Thomas. He might feature. What a player.
Oh, he's smart enough to kick this too.
Taron Thomas, I have a feeling it's the last time we'll see him in the TSL. Unfortunately, misses on this occasion.
The post, did he?
He must have. So Ryan Wiggins will kick it out here for Lauderdale. In it comes, right up the line into the centre square. And the mark taken by Sharman. So another chance to go into attack for North Launceston. This premiership is theirs now. And start to really celebrate. Falls out the back again. Here's Tang. Tang. And now a chance here for a shot on goal. Gee, that was close. Wiggins just touched it through. Take a look at this on the replay. It's Jake Pearce. Just got boot to ball, and
there wasn't much in it.
Wasn't much in it at all. So a big kick in again from Lauderdale, who can hold their heads pretty high today. Their margin's blown out now in the end, but it's certainly an improved effort from what we saw this time last year in the grand final.
Oh, no doubt. It's a tough ask from fifth. We knew that coming in.
Yeah, they've done well, especially their start to the season too, boys. How many games? I think they won 2 of their first 7 games.
Yeah, they were playing catch up.
That's for sure. Here's Mosquito. What a pick-up he's been, and hopefully he's back for the Bombers next year. It's been fantastic to watch him in 2018. Now he's done well there. It's Lamsus. Has a bounce, goes over the top. He's got Ben McGuinness. McGuinness throws it on the boot. He's got options in there. Bryce Walsh couldn't take the mark. Taylor Whitford has the footy. Off to Tom Couch, the 2 leaders from last year. The captain and coach. And now Whitford will be a premiership coach in his own right. What a fantastic story in his first season as a coach. Bart McCulloch, does he take the mark? No.
He had an opportunity there, Bryce Walsh, didn't he? Normally take those marks. I don't think it'll be a long quarter either, boys. Just 11 goals scored in the game. 3 in this final quarter, 1 to Gilby.
I think we said it at half-time, Brownie. Lauderdale were on top of the game, but just didn't make it count. And against a quality side like North Launceston, they needed the buffer. They needed to hit the scoreboard and have that scoreboard pressure, and I think that's what we've seen. North Lonnie, third quarter, clicked into gear.
Needed to hit up at the ball carrier there, Stanley, and run through the footy. Gave his opponent an opportunity to spoil. Now, what's happened here? It's going to be a free kick to Ryan Mansell.
It's been a dominant last quarter for Northern Bombers, 13 inside 50s to 3. So they've really just stamped it home in this last term. Smelt blood and gone for it. It's nudged inside for Simpson, a young player in this team. Looking in the Lee direction. Overshot for him out in the full, in fact.
And Ryan Mansell becomes a dual premiership player.
The ripe age of, what is he, 18?
How many
amazing
of those blokes would have played in all 4? Cox Goodyear definitely.
Cox Goodyear, Whitford,
Walsh,
Event maybe, Burt.
It's been a few, hasn't there? Remarkable story.
He's just milking the clock here. This Bennett.
Tommy Bennett hugging the boundary, just lets it ride. This would be a ludicrous finish. It ping-pongs around in the square and is socket over. So, just awaiting the final siren here to crown North Launceston 2018 premiers. They've been made to work for it today. Lauderdale been pretty good value, but North Launceston, their class and grit has just shone through. The ball comes to Ponting, a nice spin. It's crunched in the tackle. He'll get a free kick though in the back. Josh Ponting, he's one player that has taken his game to another level in 2018.
Oh, I agree.
Here he goes.
Underrated player for a long time now.
Bennett.
I'm sure he's not inside the 4 walls in the North Launceston Footy Club. And look, haven't they been a juggernaut, North Launceston? 5th grand final in the row, is that right? 4 of the last 5.
Yeah, it's
outstanding.
It's breathtaking work, really. And they've done well to keep this group together.
Oh,
that's a throw. That's as blatant as it gets.
Sort of like a basketball pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, or a bit of volleyball even. It was not good.
So a chance here for Jake Pearce to have a moment. A dual premiership player.
Could be one of the last moments of this grand final.
I think
not
so.
long left.
Wouldn't be a long quarter. In the end too, boys, 26 scoring shots to 13, double the amount.
So Jake Pearce. Line up. Look to put a little more icing on this cake, this premiership cake. Comes on in. Coming back. Not enough. Out to the right, a minor score. So this last quarter probably taken a little bit of the shine off Lauderdale's performance, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look tired, don't they? Coming to the end of what's been a long and arduous finals campaign.
Well, that's just it, Brownie. They've made the finals and the grand final you know, through the hard road. They've gone the long way around. Couch now. Drops it off at Bradley Cox-Goodyear. Here's a cherry on top for the absolute champ. Just hooked it out to the right.
Set up for him, wasn't it?
They're just playing with them now, toying with them.
Yep. They need the siren to go, that's for sure. Can't be too long left. Lead is exactly 30 points now, 7:21 for North Launceston as Baker takes the mark. And Walsh, who copped a hit earlier in the game, that'll be looked at. And there's the siren. North Launceston, 4 premierships in the last 5 years. Tasmanian State League premiers for 2018.
Full credit to them, and it was a bit of a grind for them, but in the end, in the third quarter, I thought they started to get on top, and they had a dominant last quarter. 28 scoring shots to 13. What a wonderful club. As we said, some of these people have just won their fourth flag, and it's not easy to stay on top, isn't it? Is it, boys? And they've been the Premier team all year, only lost a couple of games. And Lauderdale threw everything at them, particularly in the first 2.5 quarters, but they absorbed it, took their best punches, and then in the end, grind out, in the end, a comfortable 30-point win.
Magnificent. You can use a lot of words to describe North Launceston, and all of them very glowing. Fourth premiership in 5 years, 5 grand finals in a row. Winning is a habit, and they've made it one of theirs, it has to be said. They've been fantastic, North Launceston. Another Premiership Cup to go in the trophy cabinet here at UTAS Stadium. Lauderdale, they can hold their heads reasonably high. I thought they were pretty good value today, especially for half of the contest. There was just a point in it at half time. But North Launceston, the cream rose to the top, didn't it? And they showed their grit and determination and their class around the footy, and got the job done pretty comfortably in the end.
And they've done it with 3 different coaches, haven't they, with those premierships? And that's not easy. You're on a hiding to nothing in some ways if you're Taylor Whitford, after you've taking over from a team that's won a premiership. But full credit to him with his coaching. Well organised, well drilled. And they win it again. And they had a lot of terrific contributors today, as you'd expect. And in the back half, they're probably underrated, their defence, Gilly. Lauderdale only getting 4 goals today. And you mentioned Lauderdale, you know, if you're a supporter or some way associated with the footy club today, you couldn't begrudge their effort. I thought they tried really hard. It was just some of the connectivity and inside 50, they just weren't able to get it on the scoreboard. A couple of things didn't go their way. You know, some misses, which you really got to take, don't you, when you're coming from 5th against a team that's only lost 2 games all year. You've got to take your chances in front of goal. We see it, and we say it regularly in finals footy, but unfortunately for them, they weren't able to get the job done. But someone's got to put their name forward to present on grand final day, and they've done it for 2 years in a row now. Let's hope that from their perspective they can keep this group together and surge again. They had a couple of good recruits this year, that the Indigenous boys in particular, that have come into that team and made them better. But you can't deny this North Launceston outfit.
It's a juggernaut. It is a juggernaut. Anthony Osborne, are you down there in the thick of the action?
G'day guys, yeah, just down here at the moment trying to track down jubilant scenes down here at the moment. You mentioned a lot of set up before, just as sweet for them as well. I'll just try and grab someone for you and be back with you in a sec.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Cutting in and out in the thick of the action there.
Darryl Bulldog medal, Damo. I think for mine would be Cox-Goodyear. I'm not sure of the voting. We'll find that out shortly. But thought he was excellent in the first quarter. His second half, he just ran him into the ground. Just ran really hard. Seemed to be getting across the ground, driving it long. Kicked the goal early, didn't he, to settle his team when Lauderdale probably had the better of them. Been a highly decorated play if he was to go out and win another Darryl Bulldog medal. You can't do any more than that on the big stage. Yeah, in 2 different ways, as we mentioned last year, 8 goals, but we'll see what happens.
Just looking at his stats for the afternoon, 34 disposals, 14 inside 50s.
14 inside 50s is a ridiculous amount. For me, he should win the medal. I thought Ponting was really good for them throughout.
Taron Thomas very good as well. 20 touches, 7 marks, 2 goals.
He just got better for mine as the game went on. After a slow start, he looked dangerous in the air. His overhead marking was a key feature of his game today to bob up with 2 goals, and he looked really dangerous and all class. Probably could have kicked a couple more.
Got the live camera down there in the thick of the action.
His 3rd grand final too, Taron Thomas.
It's amazing, isn't it? Ponting, as you said, 23 touches.
Yeah, I thought he was really solid.
Tom Couch too, good second half performer, 18
right.
disposals.
Yeah, and moving into the second, when he went into the midfield, I thought was a really good move. As we mentioned, they're pretty underrated down back. Egger had his moments too when he went forward, didn't he? With a couple of inside 50 marks. I thought Walsh was good. I love the matchup of Bennett and young Oscar Shaw. That was really good to watch.
Pretty emotional scenes down there. Taron Thomas, probably his last game.
Well, absolutely.
In red and black. The fact he's played in 3 grand finals, won 2 of them.
He's just all class, isn't he? And almost predictably in that last quarter, you knew he was going to have some moments. And as I said, he kicked 2 goals. And his team only kicked 7. And we wait for his AFL career next season.
Oh, it's going to be great to see him run around in the AFL. He can do some damage, don't worry about that. Anthony, you got anyone for us? So they make their way over for presentations.
It's a tough part of the game for you, if you're a Lauderdale player, to sit here and watch the opposition for a 2nd year in a row receive their premiership medals, but that's footy, and they've got to, I guess, use that as motivation, as we often say, when the loser is standing out there on grand final day. But it's an outstanding effort. North Launceston, you know, you look at their team, Brendan. Damo, average age of 22. Had 6 players in the TSL this year. And you struggle. I reckon Aussie's going to try and get
Taylor Whitford, Premiership coach of 2018, North Launceston Bombers. Congratulations, mate. Fantastic effort. How does that mean to you?
Oh, it means the world, mate. It means the absolute world. You know, I said during the week, different group. You know, they all mean different, but this one we came through adversity. You know, we had our best 2 defenders out. Our young kids stood up.
Just Lauderdale threw everything at you today. The boys absorbed it and ended up able to run over the top. Very different grand final to last year, but the premiership must be just as sweet.
Very different. We didn't play really well the first half. Probably lucky to go in a point up, and yeah, the wind was pretty blustery and it was pretty hard conditions, but the way we worked into it the second half, it was fantastic.
Tough to not have Jay and Arian out there today, but I've seen around the boys, it's just as much for them as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly right. It's for everyone in the club, and I always say it's not about individuals. It never will be. It's about the group.
Congratulations, mate.
Thank you, Anthony Osborne. Beautiful work down there.
Oh, fantastic to get the winning coach. It was a great transition, wasn't it? Because they're obviously looking to do that in the second half of the year, Gilly, when Tom Couch and gave some extra responsibility to Taylor Whitford, and he was well prepared. 10 scoring shots to 1 in that final quarter, Gilly.
Yeah, it paints the picture, and they blew out the inside 50s as well in that team. So, down in the thick of the action, we'll get the live pictures from right down in the action. We've just lost the signal. They're back now. There he is, the Bulldog medalist. You called it, Brownie. Fantastic again. Doubles up after collecting it last year as well as the Lynch medal.
He's a superstar, isn't he?
I've got the votes just come in here. So Bradley Costelloe, I'll let him speak first of all. Not sure if we're getting the audio that strongly. Bradley Costelloe, 13 votes. Ponting finished second with 9 votes. Taron Thomas, 8. Jack Event, 3. And Josh McGuinness, 1.
I thought Josh McGuinness was really good from the Lauderdale perspective. Event really underrated his game. Terrific player, back forward, can play on a wing, and rolling through the midfield. And Thomas just worked his way into the game to become one of the more influential players in the game.
right down in the thick of the action. So the Costelloe medal now to be presented to the winning coach.
I guess from an AFL TAS perspective, Damo, a great day at Grand Final day. 3 different teams winning Grand Finals. Launceston winning the Mercury Cup, so a great game in the TSLW. Milky getting the job done by 2 points over Clarence.
Decent, yeah, you're right. It's been a very good day. We hear from Taylor Whitford, not quite getting the audio there. See if Anthony Osborne can get the mic on and close to the action. It's cutting in and out there, but really appreciative. Taylor Whitford accepts the Costelloe medal.
He's pretty good too, Taylor Whitford. Such a smart user, finds space. Doesn't panic when he's got the foot in his hands.
Yeah, no, you did right.
It's not an easy role, playing coach.
So they start with Taylor Whitford. He collects his medal, you're right. Fantastic. Accepts his medal. Big embrace.
Pretty solid again today, Mark Walsh. Key feature is his foot skills. Really good in the grand final last year. Yeah, what a player. 50-goal season, team of the year. Kicked a great goal on the boundary line. Had a really important inside 50 entry, which resulted in the Egger mark. Yeah, second best on the ground for mine. Josh Ponning, I thought he was terrific. Has had an outstanding season. Another team of the year member.
No, I'm with you, Brownie.
Well, this man's played in his 5th grand final. He's Mr. Dependable, isn't he? He can play back, he can play forward.
Wasn't keen on getting the footy, that was kick. Was kicker. Yeah, no, you're right, Zach Burt. Probably a little quieter today, but still did his job.
Does a role unheralded, this man, Connor Young. Rarely beaten. You're underrated. Spur of thought for Rick DeSolder too. He would have been out here. Unfortunately for him, a suspension. No doubt he's in their best 22.
Yeah, no. A tough pill to swallow for Rick DeSolder. Jay Foon, another one.
Yeah. Such. He would have been, yeah, they're the 2 hard luck stories as Jake Pearce walks off with his 3rd premiership medallion. And what a story, this man. First year of TSL footy, I thought he was really important in the first quarter. Plays as that tall wingman, deep left foot kick.
Bart McCulloch, a good target today. I thought Alex Hill did a pretty good job on him.
It was a good matchup. It was a hard game, I would have thought, for forward today. Swirly conditions, you didn't get a lot of separation. But another premiership to Bart McCulloch, the former Brisbane draftee.
Tom Couch, a lot spoken about his inclusion into this side. He probably justified it.
Absolutely. And kicked a goal in the first half and then went forward and had some real influence. What a player he's been.
Be interesting to see what he does with himself next year and whether he spends any time here. Jack Event, unheralded, underrated, quality player.
4 premierships for him. Yeah, he's such a versatile player. I would have thought he'd been North Launceston's 3 or 4 best players today. Bannister has had his moments throughout the season. He gives him something a little different across the half-forward line. You know, bustling tight play, can kick goals. Congratulations to him.
The youngster Ryan Mansell.
I thought he played pretty well today, Ryan Mansell. Another premiership for him.
I hope for his sake that maybe we don't see him in North Launceston colours next year and he's off playing AFL. Carlton Wadley, contributor in this side as well.
Yeah, probably got his opportunity, didn't he, with a couple of those players that you mentioned out of the team. Took it today, becomes a premiership player.
So Beau Sharman, of course, Devonport bowing out of the competition. He crossed over to North Launceston where he played a little bit of footy in the past and He's worked his way into the side. He was made to wait, but it's come good for him at the right time.
Had a couple of moments too, didn't he, Thomas Donnelly, receiving his medal. He got back into the team, didn't he, with a late inclusion in the second semi-final when Couch was a late withdrawal, and a couple of nice intercept marks inside the back 50 today from the Mariner. Top age player. He's a recruit. Michael Tang receives his medal.
Yeah, had moments. He's had glimpses throughout the season. Another solid contributor, though. They don't have too many weaknesses, North Launceston.
No, they don't. Look, the more the game went on, the better he got for mine, Taron Thomas. He did take a couple of terrific marks early, actually, in the air. It looked like he was troubling Mitch Anderton.
Alex Lee.
Unheralded, isn't he?
Yeah.
And battled manfully.
Although they've won, Sharon Egger, they all get around him. The youngster.
Oh, he kicked a goal, took another mark inside forward 50. He's had a terrific season. We've seen him play some great footy off half back, and what a move for him since coming across from, or coming down from Devonport, becomes a premiership player.
Youngsters galore in this side. Ben Simpson's one of them.
Who's another man they won't have a lot next season. Will play for a fair bit for Mariners, you would have thought. Just a young man making his way in the game, becomes a premiership player.
Bradley Cott's good yet. Well, I reckon his pool room's getting pretty full of these medals. So the Premiership Cup time. Tell you what, they've won 4 now, Brownie, but you wouldn't know it. They're excited as if it's their first.
Yeah, they are. And like we said, that the average age of this group's 22.
Good touch to have a former great handing out the Premiership Cup. And there they go. North Launceston.
Oh, congratulations, a juggernaut, a dynasty, whatever you want to call it, playing in 5 grand finals in a row in the Premier League competition in the state, and to win 4 of them is an outstanding achievement for everyone involved in that footy club. As we mentioned, 3 different coaches in that time. Well done to Lauderdale, not easy to stay out there. They'd be disappointed. They gave it their all today, though. And sometimes you're just the second best team in the competition, Gilly. And it was a great effort from Lauderdale to come from 5th. Maybe it was too far back in the end. They just looked a little bit tired, didn't they, in the last 30 or 40 minutes of this game.
Well, that's just it, isn't it? They were the second best team.
A terrific season, though, Gilly, wasn't it? When you look back, and you know, Launceston certainly had their moments. They just lost some form in at different stages throughout the year, but I probably thought their list, they were probably in the top 2 in the competition. We saw Clarence come out of the blocks pretty unexpectedly, and had a terrific win against North Launceston from memory. And they probably just lost their way in the second half of the season as injury and form fell away. And Glenorchy, they get a tick from mine as well from their season. And with the coach Paul Kennedy, what a famous win it was, the final that they had against Launceston. And what a moment that is.
Captain and coach pass the baton over to Bradley Cox-Goodyear in terms of the captaincy. It's just worked so seamlessly.
Well, when we spoke about the transition from Couch to Whitford, which was happening last year, Couch knowing he was moving on, I think he actually took the reins one day, Taylor Whitford, did he not, when he was injured in the back half of last year, and got some experience coaching from the sidelines. And obviously full credit to the coaching panel of North Launceston as well. They had some smart operators on the bench being involved.
It's still surreal, the feeling you're on top of it. It's against the week to each year. You never get older. The feeling that you have right now with your best mates is, you can't describe it, and the next 3 days you're just going to be the best mates. It was a cracking game. They brought the heat, and it was really tough for that wind. I've never played a game with the wind, so they brought it. We managed to go back after half time and grind it out, and that's all it was a grind all day, and we managed to get the result. we just had to change things up a little bit because the ball was going end to end a little bit, so we just had to control the ball a little bit going forward. We got the ball, we got field position right, we wanted to get inside our forward half and eventually score. I'm just happy to play my role. I've had an injury up to the end. I tried to set myself for this day. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do the individual stuff for the year, so if I can set myself this day, play my role, help my team win, that's all that matters to me.
How much did it take to get up and back up?
Yeah, the body's let me down a little bit, but as I said, I tried to build for this time of year, and luckily my body held up. Yeah, bros.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The words of the victorious captain there, Bradley Cox-Goodyear, adding a 2017 Baldock medal with a 2018 Baldock medal. Dominant player on the ground. Josh Ponting, probably the second best on the ground as the voting went. 9 votes for Ponting, 13 for Bradley Cox-Goodyear, and 8 for Taron Thomas, the 3 majors.
It probably sneaks up on you, the dominance in the last half of North Launceston. If you look at it purely from a scoring shots perspective, just 3 scoring shots to Lauderdale in that second half compared to 17 for North Launceston. They pretty much ran right, didn't they, in the last quarter.
You heard Bradley Cox-Goodyear mention the swirly breeze there.
Yeah,
it was
probably a little bit underrated, wasn't it? There was a few fluky ones that fell over the back. It was a difficult one, and probably the one that made it look easy was Taron Thomas, wasn't he, in the last quarter with some of his overhead marking.
So with Anthony Osborne down in the thick of the action, just lurking as he does.
Done a great job too,
hasn't he? He's just looking to get an interview, so we'll just hang on by. We might get some more reaction. Look at Brent Costelloe down there as well, just doing his best work.
He stands out for obvious reasons.
The big ball don't. Fantastic. North Launceston fans, well, it must be easy being a North Lonnie fan. Not too much to be disappointed about.
Just down here with Taron Thomas, boys. Premiership player 2018 as well. Congratulations, mate. How does that feel?
Yeah, no, thank you. Good feeling. Can't describe it. Good win for the boys.
Big year for yourself with obviously Allies and Mariners football as well. To come back and play for your club and win a flag, it must mean a lot.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. All the boys mean a lot to me. Like family, so yeah, hard comeback. But all the boys supported me throughout everything. So yeah, can't wish a bunch of better blokes.
We all know bigger and better things onwards for you, hopefully in the future. Being potentially your last season in the red and black, it must mean a lot to finish on a note like this.
Yeah, no, it means a lot. Finish it like a good win like this, play good football. Pretty special.
A bit of hang time for you on that last quarter as well with a couple of those speckies.
Yeah, no, a couple. Glad to get up, but can't do that without the boys. Yeah, they played today, so yeah, kept to them.
Very different game to the grand final last year. Lauderdale threw everything at you. As a contest, how did you find today's game?
Yeah, not too bad. Just another game. Good contest for about 2 boys, so yeah.
Best luck for the future.
Taron Thomas, the star on the rise. He's meant for bigger and better things, but he was sensational today on the TSL's biggest stage.
Yeah, he was. In that last quarter, he was electric, wasn't he? Set the game alight. A couple of goals today, had some really important score involvements. Thought he was good in the air, his overhead marking. Just, that just shows what a difficult matchup he is, because we know how deadly he is at ground level and reading it off hand, so clean. One of 6 teenagers today, Gilly, running around for North Launceston. Donnelly, Mansell, Egger, Simpson, Wadley, the other 5. And they're probably going to be around next season, I would have thought, for North Launceston. So it'll be interesting to see who tips out of this group.
That was the question I was going to ask, Brownie. At what point do they get satisfied, I guess, with what they've achieved together and maybe take the foot off and go play in the NTFA, or maybe take a year off footy? You see it at other clubs, but North Launceston have seemed to keep this group together for a little while.
And they just seem to blood a couple of youngsters each and every year, which is a credit to them, isn't it? And the junior development programs that they've got in place, and underage coaching and things like that. The Mercury Cup team played in the grand final today, so You know, who knows? A couple of those boys running around in that game might be playing in the big stage next year. A long way to go, of course. But a real thrill for some of those young boys. And we said a few times throughout the call, just an average age of 22. So not sure whether Tom Couch will hang around next year. He loves Tassie. But how many people tip out of the footy club will be interesting. But you'd think the nucleus of this team will still be there. They're an underrated defence, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. You know, so proud of Taylor and you know, the side he's put together and the way they play. And you know, it's pretty tricky conditions today. And Wendy coached really well, so we had to, you know, I guess regroup at sort of half time. We weren't playing our best footy, and I think the boys responded really well.
Yeah. Obviously, you've adjusted really well when they've needed you. Sort of was a bit more difficult being a grand final to sort of prepare yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Like you'd rather be training, you know, 3-4 times a week and doing everything you possibly can. So, try to do everything I could on my own, I guess, and you know, have a kick with a few mates back home, and you know, do all the running, that type of thing. So, yeah, obviously, you know, there's probably a few instances during the game when I, you know, probably maybe panicked a bit. You know, it's just learning to have that goal sense. So.
Just lost Anthony Osborne there.
And when you stepped into the club last year as a coach, could you imagine 18 months later you'd still be a part of the team from afar at times? And you know, is that something you want to be next year as well?
Yeah, I'll just wait and see. I'm pretty keen to play with my brother. You know, at some stage, he's been injured for a while, so yeah, we want to do, and you know, it'd be pretty special if we can. So, yeah, look, yeah, we called it sort of probably about February this year. Yeah, no. Worry about next year, I guess, just to enjoy this and yeah, go from there.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks. Cheers.
So Tom Couch there, sorry for the patchy audio. We'll get in and we might just grab the song and then we might just wrap up proceedings here from UTAS Stadium. It's been a wonderful win for North Launceston. 7 goals, 21-63. Very inaccurate in the finish. 4-9-33 Lauderdale. So we'll sneak in for the song. And then we'll wrap up this stream and broadcast. North Launceston will celebrate long into the night, you'd think, Brownie.
No doubt. Big 48 hours, I would have thought, coming up for the players and supporters.
So we'll get in to the thick of the action. Anthony Osborne, he's going to have to be a hard ball get here. He's going to have to go in.
Get on his bike.
We'll see if we can get the pictures. We can hear the voice. Have we got the pictures? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we're going to get the images from inside the North Launceston room. So we'll wrap it up here at UTAS Stadium. A big day of TSL footy. A big win for North Launceston. 30-point victors in the end. Lauderdale threw everything at them. North Lonnie held strong with a strong second half. It's been a pleasure bringing this one live to you. Thanks for listening to today's broadcast and watching it wherever you did. Bye for now.